Some of you who have been following my Continuing Care Retirement Community playlist may be interested in knowing what happened with the plans for a switch to flexible dining here at my retirement community. So I thought it's time for an update. Hi, I'm Sandy from Sandy Over 70. Welcome to my channel. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already and click that little like button if you enjoy this video. Our retirement community was established way back in 1955, and ever since then, the residents have been offered one meal a day. Part of the reason for this was to make sure that the residents did eat, that they didn't have to count their pennies or worry about how much the food cost. They ate one full meal a day. And so it's been, even when I first moved in here 2 years ago. But as soon as the pandemic was over and our new CEO arrived, plans went in full force to change to a more flexible dining plan. And one of the reasons is that people have changed since 1955. They don't necessarily want to be obligated to be present in the dining room every single day for their meal or lose it. Today's residents are looking for more flexibility. They want to be able to dine out and use their dining credits as they please. Maybe they'd like a little light meal one day or have a lunch and a dinner one day. Anyway, it's all the rage in the retirement communities across the country, and they have all switched, almost all, to a flexible dining plan of some kind. And it sounded good to me, and I think it sounded good to most of the residents here. When our new CEO arrived, she went full force into listening to what the residents wanted, doing focus groups and bringing in consultants. The first thing that happened really was that we hired an outside group to manage dining service. And this seems to be working out fairly well. The next thing was to design the resident choice dining program, as it's called here. This took a lot of work because there's all kinds of things involved. There's a whole a computer network that has to be set up and integrated with the food. Food has to be priced. Menus have to be created. Systems have to be developed. This is no small thing. And so it went. And we had meetings, all kinds of meetings where the initial plans were presented to us. And then finally, the final plan was presented to us with implementation date scheduled for March 1st. It was very exciting. We continued to have meetings. We were told various things that were going to be part of this program. Management took the feedback from these meetings and made changes, made a lot of changes, until finally we were presented with the program. And then there was a bit of a problem. Well, there was a lot of discussion, a little bit of chaos, and the next thing we heard was that the program had been put on hold. I don't know what happened during this time, but I'm sure our management talked to those who were concerned and ironed out whatever problems there were. It took a while. And finally, we were given a new implementation date of April 15th, and we were given basically a new program. There were a lot of tweaks to this program, and I have to say, what I heard was far better than what we had originally been offered. So I think, pausing sometimes is a really good thing for everyone involved. Okay, so we were very eager to see how this big changeover was going to work on April 15th. Prior to that, we walked into the dining room, we scanned our fob, and we ate our food. And that was it. Now, each item of food was priced. Yes, priced. But also, there were some combinations that you could get that made it a little cheaper. Oh, I didn't tell you. Each person was given $16 per day in dining dollars that is credited to our accounts. And we get 3 months worth to use as we want. So this is good. Originally it was 1 month. But then people said, what if we're away for that month? So it was extended to 3 months. And this is good because we travel also, and we can be gone easily for 8-9 days at a time. And during that time, we won't be using our dining dollars, so they'll be waiting for us when we get back. Residents have the option of staying with the meal a day plan. They do, and I believe it's 59 residents out of about 600 have chosen that route. And it is a little bit more limited than it used to be, but it still contains all of the basics: an entree, 2 sides, the big salad bar, bread, dessert, and beverages. So that is one option. The other option is the full flexible plan, which is what I went with. I can't see any reason not to. I'm looking forward to using it in various ways that I couldn't do before. And the third option is a half plan. That is, you get half the dining dollars to use as you want. And this is good for people who would like to dine out more often, or want to control their eating. It's up to the individual resident. So those were the plans. I didn't give you all the details, but enough for you to understand that this was a big change. So April 15th came, and honestly, I thought there would be chaos at the checkout, because if you are taking out, you have to go through a checkout line. If you are eating in, you just sit at the table, and our servers come with a tablet and record what we have eaten. And at the end of the meal, they give us a receipt, and it shows how much we have eaten and how many dining dollars are left in our account. They practiced with volunteer residents for at least a week before implementation. I think that's what really helped this go so smoothly, because on April 15th, when I was ready to record chaos in the dining room, it went beautifully, smoothly. There was management staff around to help us to answer questions, and the servers did a great job punching out our food on their tablet. There were little signs on our tables asking for our patience as we implement the new technology. But honestly, there was really no need for that, because at this point, all of the residents knew what a big change this was for our serving staff, and we were grateful. Today was the 12th day, and honestly, it seems like we've been doing it forever. I'm not having any problems. Some days my check shows that I've eaten $17 or $18 worth of food. Today I ate 11, and for us, we made the conscious decision that we're not going to look at the prices, we're not going to calculate how much we're eating. We're going to eat exactly as we ate before. the only reason we look at the check is because we have to sign it at this point, and I'm looking at it just for information. But really, we're not going to nickel-dime ourselves on our dining habits. After the first quarter, we'll see if we're over, we'll see if we're under, and then we'll know. But if we're over, we don't care. It goes onto our bill. How much over could it be? And we'll just pay it. It's automatically paid from our account. So that's what's happening. It's very interesting. And so far, I really like it. But that's just my opinion. Before I close, I want to talk about one more topic related to dining, but not flexible dining. It's a separate issue. When I first moved here, I remember putting in a suggestion that we have a special table in the dining room that's dedicated to people who are dining alone so that they have someone to dine with. And one thing we tried were these signs that you could put on your table when you're eating, and it said, I can't remember exactly what it said, but something about that you were welcoming other people to sit at your table to dine. And it didn't work. I mean, we'd sit them down on our table, and no one would sit down with us or at any of the other tables. And so we tried it a few times, and then I think everyone just gave up putting these signs on the table. But we knew we still wanted to do something for the single people. It must be uncomfortable coming into the dining room alone and either sitting alone or asking if you can join someone at a table. And I think a lot of people end up taking their food home as takeout, and that's not a good thing, because one of the reasons you move to a retirement community is for the social aspects, and this occurs at dinner time for sure. So one day, my table mate and I were having a discussion on this because she's on the dining committee and it had come up again. And I said, I wonder what we could do to make this work. And then I said, wait a minute. What if we had a table that wasn't for singles, but it was for anyone who just wanted to sit at a large table with other people and perhaps meet other people, get rid of the word single. And she came up with the word mingle. I said, that's perfect. So she took it to dining committee and they loved it. We implemented a meet and mingle table. It has 8 or 10 chairs at it. And again, we were concerned that no one would sit there and that it would fail as our attempts in the past had. So they even had ambassadors sitting at the table to promote its use. That was never needed. From day one, that table has been full or almost full of both singles and couples. It has been a rip-roaring success. In fact, we may have to open up an additional one. So that's a little story about how we implemented our meet and mingle table, and it's just very heartwarming to see something work so well. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day, and if you have any comments about this, please write them below.